Yeah, I think you guys looking good. Yeah. Yeah, everything is working. We have a sound. We have a picture.
Do we have a live chat?
Yeah, we have a live chat. I have a coffee.
Oh yeah. You have a coffee. You are the coffee drinker. Yeah, I see.
Yeah. I'm back at the coffee actually.
How come? What changed? The last time, just for some
Hi,
context,
Claudia.
the last time he told me that he's not drinking coffee anymore, especially in later hours because whatever, can't sleep. But it didn't last long.
Yeah, only like 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months without coffee. Oof.
I mean, this is actually the from Starbucks, like the grounded coffee.
Oh.
Yeah, I know that, but I actually like it. So.
I love your cup.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Actually, both cups, the one on the top and the one in the hand.
Yeah, cap and caps. Yeah. And they are actually from the same.
Yeah, but it's a funny feeling. I don't know how you made it last week because there's some 15 seconds or something of a delay between when I hear you and when I see you on the screen in YouTube. So I don't know how you managed to actually make it work last week, that it went so fluent, because last week you couldn't feel when you are on the audience, you can't feel that there are any problems like that.
Yeah. Actually, there is some setup on a YouTube. You cannot set it up. You can set it up, but you cannot set up from the Streamlabs directly. You need to go from YouTube, like from the other side. So, but yeah, you have like 3 options, like low latency, normal latency, ultra latency, which we have right now. So we have like, I don't know, 1 or 2 second delay. So
that's 3, 4, 5 maybe.
Come on. you always ruining my happiness. Okay. So, Gusto, how are you?
Thanks. I'm trying to fight with the virus and the situation, because it's crazy that we're still stuck at home. Actually, I'm allowed to go outside and even go to some parks or out of town, but I missed the date. They apparently allowed us to go out of town, but they didn't tell me that.
Okay. And you are in Krakow right now?
Yeah, I'm in Krakow in Poland. I live in Poland, and I would love to go to the mountains. But on the weekend, everybody's going to mountains right now, because people are people miss going out, miss nature, so they want to have it as soon as possible. But luckily, on the working days, it's easier.
Yeah. It's same here in Berlin.
Yeah. There were some demonstrations like that.
Yeah, trying to always escape to the nature, because
Yeah.
I mean, when you have 3 kids, it's always good to put them in the nature, in the forest, and run.
So just leaving them there.
See you in the 2 hours and.
Tomorrow I'll be going for all day in rocky area with my camera, with everything. So I will be finally able to shoot some photos, because I bought a camera. You saw me with camera in Amsterdam. I bought right before that Amsterdam. Then I was able to make photos for a month in Spain, and then all the world got closed.
Yeah.
So since then I wasn't able to do practically anything with that. Now I'll be able to finally learn photography.
Yeah, and when we are back in Vue.js Amsterdam, what do you think about the Vue.js Amsterdam event? How was it from your point of view?
I was supposed to write an article about it, but because people are all stuck, so there was no point to writing it right now, because nobody wants to read about conferences when they cannot go outside. So I'll still have to write it. But in my opinion, the conference was much better than the last year. Last year it was already very good. It's a huge scale, and it's extremely difficult to organize a conference when you have to cater for 2,000 of people over 3 days, because you have to go to, make some compromises. For example, there weren't enough place to fit all those people, so it was very difficult to go through the corridor and find your friends, talk with them, meet somebody new. Last year, this year, they somehow managed to get additional space, and it worked much better. Same thing with the other improvements. The organizers got a lot of feedback after last year, and it's I have to praise them a lot that they listen to almost everything, and did their best to provide optimal experience for everybody. So I like this. I like this edition a lot, even if I'll be honest, I didn't see a lot of talks.
I definitely agree. Like last year, it was for us slightly little bit like disappointment, because like we were at the after party where basically like no one from the speakers, so it was really like kind of sad. I mean, I still have some friends with me, right, Norman? But still.
Yeah, there were other people.
Still was like little bit sad, but like this year was like amazing. I really love it. I actually like shoot like lots of videos from the event, but also didn't like. After I watch it, I said like I don't want to release it actually. Maybe like some short clip, but it was really nice. And
you should at some point.
Maybe
release it.
Maybe I will like do like 3 minutes video something. Yeah, awesome.
That reminds me of a situation with the guy from München. I made a photo of both of you. There's a guy in München who is very similar to Jiří. And I came to him, I hugged him, and for a long time, for a minute or two, he didn't know what's going on, and I didn't realize that it's not you. When I saw you later together, when you met, for a moment, at first look, it's difficult to tell which one of you is you.
I agree. It was kind of.
It was really fun. That was a good situation. And literally everyone we met saw Jiří and said, "Oh, did you meet your double ever already?" Every single one we met. It was good.
Awesome. I think it was a really nice event, and I mean for most of us it was the last event for at least for this year. There
was VueConf US later, but we weren't there, so we can only miss it. But you said about the after party, and other thing that helps is that last year in Amsterdam and on later conferences in London or elsewhere, the community slowly started to get to know each other. So this year, when we came to Amsterdam, even if the organizers didn't make it easier for us, we would still be able to do something together. Because last year, the Germans were alone, Spanish people were separately in a big group. There were more than 10 people also waiting for speakers that never showed up. There were some other groups. This year we were able to just get together, organize some stuff, and it was very good. We had much easier access to speakers too.
I actually find the picture.
Awesome!
I put it over us.
Okay.
It was really crazy. Yeah. I mean, I definitely look better than him, but
Obviously.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was really like weird experience. Yep. Okay, awesome. Gustav, like for those who doesn't like know you, I mean, there's like not so many people, I guess, but can you please like shortly introduce yourself? What you are doing?
There's lots of people that don't know me, so I really should introduce myself. Hey, my name is not Gusto. I'm Darek. My real name is Dariusz Wedrychowski. Nobody can pronounce it, so I just introduced myself as Gusto. And my friend Alex Hover, organizer of Vue de Alicante conference, told me, hey, you should tell everybody, my name is Gusto, mucho gusto. Because mucho gusto in Spanish means nice to meet you.
Oh, nice.
Currently. But I see that we have with us Cynthia, Lady Mashiro, who's organizer of Vueber meetups. And I would want to use the situation, this opportunity to thank her for everything she does for us, because she's doing quite a lot for our community. And in Amsterdam last year, she was her help was helped us to she helped us to actually organize a big event for people from the community, library authors, event organizers, content creators, right, authors of documentation, of tutorials, to meet together, discuss all the things that we wanted to discuss but couldn't, because we didn't know we didn't have a place where we could actually meet. I'm sorry if I'm talking too fast.
No,
Quite
no,
possibly I do.
Sorry.
Yeah, and since I'm a community person, and that's what I do in Vue.js core team. Okay, that's it about my introduction. But I lack organizational skills. You're event organizers. You're doing a very good job. You're organizing the meetups at the place. You're doing it online. You're doing discussion panels like this one, and it's people like you, people like Cynthia, that actually push this community forward. Because the only thing that I can do is to get you together, allow you to meet each other. And it's you who actually push all the initiatives like this one. And without you, this community wouldn't exist. Without me, it would still be okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, you're also doing like lots of stuff, and we also really want to thank you for all the things you did and you do in the future.
Thank you. I see also we have Mohamed Benida with us, who is organizer of Vue.js Morocco. It's one of those infamous meetups that didn't organize an event. I mean, we did organize a few together unofficially, but none of them was actually called Vue.js meetup officially. But I hope that in Morocco too we'll have a lot of new events when we are finally able to organize them. When we go out. And I saw Marina. Hey, Marina. And this is also a funny situation, because Marina is working on Validate with Damian Dulis from core team. Marina is also working on Form Violate, which is a form generator based on Validate. And she wrote a very good book, which I can recommend to everybody, about writing your own custom form generators, writing complex dynamic forms with Vue.js. So if you're interested in this topic, and if you came to listen to Jesus, I never remember if Awadu is your name or Abdullah Rahman is your name, because I always call you Lagaret. But yeah, it's good for me when people like that, like Marina and Lagaret, can also talk with each other and discuss the code. It's kind of hard. Well, try to pronounce my surname. We'll do it. We'll do it probably in Verona. We'll be speaking together on the conference in Verona once we finally organize it because of the virus.
Let's not go with the pronouncing names. I mean, we can we can have like competition here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm so with the Norman, I'm really out of the league here. But yeah, you guys have names. I wouldn't even try.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so what's and what you are doing like except like community work? Do you have any other like full-time job or?
Right now, I bet everything on opening my own company. So I'm preparing a gaming platform. It's a website which will be a platform where people can create their own text-based role-playing games. So it looks like more like interactive fiction in the cloud.
Nice.
The name is Role-Playing Cloud. The cloud is even in the name, but it's it's not online yet. I will share the link when it's finally ready. But I know that Norman is doing also something for role-playing games. So how is your progress on it?
Yeah.
Did you do something from the last time?
Yeah.
Something from the last time? What do you mean?
Did you manage to push it forward during this week?
Oh yeah, I posted about it, right? Yes, I'm creating this card generator, right? But the last 2 weeks or so, I'm not really working on it much. I have too much different stuff to do, so it's really besides working on projects, I'm also leading an actual pen and paper round. Which just ate my whole time my whole spare time basically. So.
Yeah. That's sad.
That's not that sad. I actually enjoyed it.
Tell me, you're writing in Vue 2, right?
Yes.
How soon do you plan to move it over to Vue 3?
That's actually a good question. I already thought that I should definitely at least give it a try to just push Vue 3 better on it and see how much breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely want to move over to Vue 3 as latest, as soon as it's officially out. Not in RC or whatever anymore. But maybe I'm even trying in beta already. So as long as it's not randomly crashing, I can do that. It's not really a high performance something compared to the tool or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm doing my project in Vue 2, and sorry for that. I don't really plan to move to Vue 3 and soon, because I'm comfortable with Vue 2. All the tooling around it, all the libraries, for example, Next modules, because I'm using Next for that, are working fine for me. So I don't really feel the need to update as quickly as possible to Vue 3. So I'll just take my sweet time, work as much as it's necessary in Vue 2, and once the ecosystem around Vue 3 is ready too, so the tooling is on par with Vue 2 ecosystem, then I will consider maybe it's a good time to actually update to Vue 3. So even if I'm a core team member, it doesn't mean that I will go with Vue 3 as soon as it's possible.
I think I would go with Vue 3 as soon as possible because this whole thing is still in development, and I would just probably never really find that one moment where I'm moving over to Vue 3 if it is ready, So now is the best time in my opinion. That's why I guess I will
Yeah. For me, I also like mostly waiting for Vue 3 to be more like released, because I want to try the beta, but like for like my current projects, I'm not so brave to use Vue 3 like for like production ready code. So yeah, but yeah, I'm really excited. Hopefully it will be here soon. So
yeah, it's still funny that I stopped hearing your voice, but I still see you talking on the YouTube.
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, about the gaming thing. I think I saw your talk from where was it? From Milano or something, like from Italy, from the last year. Yeah, and you already mentioned that you want to create some game for like blind people or visually impaired people.
I mean, this platform is text-based, so all those games are based on text. And for people with who don't see, who don't who are visually impaired, only such kind of games are what they can play.
Yeah.
And all people want some kind of entertainment.
Yeah.
And so if I'm creating a game that is based on text, I should put as even more attention that it's actually playable for all kinds of people. And this moves us slowly to the topic of accessibility, which got a little controversial in the community in the last week, because there was this infamous report on the web about 1 million websites around the world, and apparently the result was that from all the frameworks of Vue.js, users make the most accessibility errors from all users of JavaScript. And lots of people were wondering, why is it? Why does it happen? So what do you think? Is Vue.js less accessible than other frameworks?
No, I don't think that this is the problem. I think it's that you either use something crazy full features like AngularJS, only Angular nowadays, that probably already gives you tools that tell you a bit more about accessibility and what you're doing wrong, or you're using it in a corporate environment or like big project environment where you are paying attention probably because you have a big audience, or you use something like React where you know that it's not doing anything to help you with this stuff, so you either don't care at all or you have to care about it, but there's not much in between. But Vue.js is exactly in between. So I think people expect from Vue.js that it tells you a bit more about these issues. And it actually, some frameworks do these things, right? So I think we should more look into the direction of how to help people, making less mistakes, just by warning them or like telling them what to do, instead of why it's not like this.
Yeah, there is quite a few of tools for accessibility with Vue.js. A lot of them are under GitHub organization Vue Li, and but not many people actually know about them. And there's even ESLint plugin for accessibility with Vue.js, which I would really love it if it was available in Vue CLI as one of default options to choose, other than Prettier, other with ESLint, because it would help a lot to people to actually notice those mistakes. But even when I use those tools, if, for example, I'm checking standard, default versions of some boilerplates for Vue.js, and even without any code inside, the boilerplates already provide, have some mistakes with accessibility. But it's also tricky to count how accessible is project by number of errors that are visible in such tools. For example, if you have 200 images and they don't have provided ARIA tags, then you have 200 errors. But all the errors come from one mistake, because the author didn't know one thing, what they should do. But another website may have 100 mistakes, 100 errors, but each of them is a different thing that breaks accessibility for people. And such website may be even less accessible, even if there's a smaller number of errors. But lately there was a very, very nice library released. It's a UI library called Chakra UI. Have you heard about Chakra UI?
Yes, but I have no idea what I really heard. The name somehow rings a bell.
Okay, so it's a library released lately by Jonathan Bakebois, written with cooperation with some other Vue developers like Kevin Dominus. And what's fun about it is that it's a port of a UI library from React. So they work together with React developers, and it's the only big UI library in Vue.js that actually uses CSS in JS approach for writing CSS. So when you look at it, it's you write all your CSS by writing props in Vue.js components, and it kind of looks like writing Tailwind classes directly in props, just with a limited amount of them. But why I'm talking about Chakra is because Chakra right now Chakra is one of, I think, only 4 big UI libraries that actually provide full accessibility support for all components out of the box. There is Vuefy, which is very good with accessibility. Vuetify is very good with accessibility. There's Bootstrap Vue also, but with other UI libraries for Vue.js, I'm not so sure, or with some of them I was sure that they're not really good with accessibility. So I'm very happy that Chakra UI is now on the market, and if you have some, a free weekend or so, we'll give it a try.
I'll just quickly open the link in the back.
Yeah.
Chakra UI. Okay.
Have you ever tried using CSS in JS in Vue.js?
No, I find the whole idea a bit strange, to be honest. But
yeah.
All right. Yeah. Axel is reminding us that Vuetensils is also addressing accessibility, but Vuetensil doesn't provide its own styling. It only provides bare raw components that you can use to create your own UI system. So Vuetensils is very good. I used it myself, and I was very happy with it. And it's written by Stegosaur. He gave a talk about it at VueCon VUS, I think. Very, very nice guy. Axel, if I remember well, you're also a library author, but I always forget which library did you write. Can you write it in our chat on YouTube, so that we promote it in the audition?
Yeah, sure.
If the guys don't cut it out. I remember you wrote some smaller plugins, some smaller package for Vue.js. I just don't remember what was it.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's with this accessibility, it's always like it's question if I like from my personal experience, I never used like accessibility first approach. It was always like more like additional thing when you have time.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Unfortunately, it's always like this.
Actually, I mean before I joined from A to B, I worked at a startup in Prague, and we did like application for blind or visual impaired people. So kind of had to have like the accessibility first approach. So all our website was accessible and like iOS app and everything. So it was really like a good experience to work like with this, and I met lots of like visually impaired or like blind people, and it was
the connection is breaking on my side currently.
Yeah, and it was actually kind of like it's really hard to say like it compare like blind or visually impaired, like it was like eye-opening for me. But yeah, and I met like I have like lots of friends from the community, like these people. So yeah, but definitely, I mean, we right now it's like at the from A to B we using our free time, kind of like forced free time for kind of redesign, and I think we try to fix also these kind of accessibility things. So hopefully we can fix most of the bugs, and yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
What's also funny about Chakra was written by Jonathan, and Jonathan is organizer of Vue.js Beijing meetup, so one of the biggest Vue.js meetups in China, but he's originally from Uganda. So he's more part of our Western ecosystem of Vue.js, the English-speaking ecosystem rather than Chinese-speaking ecosystem. And it's always difficult for us when there are libraries having mainly Chinese documentation, or Chinese issues on GitHub. It's pretty difficult for us to use them. And the same goes the other way. People from China, when they see issues on GitHub only in English, then it's pretty difficult for them to join discussions if they are not fluent with the language.
Yeah.
So they prefer not to use those libraries. Same situation with tutorials with events like this.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm starting speaking very, very, very fast.
No. Still good.
Yeah. So we're right now in the community. We're trying to think of some ideas in which we could bring the communities like in Japan, in China, in Brazil together. Because in Brazil we also have a big problem because most of them are they speak Portuguese, but not many developers there are really fluent in English, fluent enough to, for example, talk on meetups like this one.
Yeah.
Because and even if they know English, they're not confident with it because they don't have many opportunities to actually try it out in real life. So we're trying to think of some ways in which we can work between communities in different languages, but it's not that easy. Maybe you have some idea, or maybe if you think of something, let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are examples of what we're currently trying to push in Vue.js community. Another example is we opened a new Discord server after Vue.js Amsterdam. We opened a server for event organizers, which you're on also.
Really?
Which allowed event organizers to communicate together in a better way, hopefully. and we organized together a big online event for I think 800 of people watching consecutively on the Zoom and on the YouTube, which was crazy because we didn't think that so many people would try to watch it. So the Zoom limit was quickly what's the word in English? We reached the limit on Zoom, and we couldn't invite any more people. So even Vue.js Berlin had its own live stream from that. And there will be another event like that in the summer. So I hope it will be even better. But from what I see, the organization is going in a good direction. And hopefully we'll have more initiatives like that. So after Amsterdam, we did something like that for event organizers, but the community is not only about events. There are lots of people who write tutorials. There are lots of people who write libraries, tools, other projects. And we also needed a place where we could discuss together. So we're trying to provide it right now. We're testing out how it works, and hopefully it will have something good out of it, some new initiatives. Because when I see people in our ecosystem working together, they always have better results than, for example, when I myself try to do something alone. When I have an idea, I always try to do it alone, and it doesn't work well.
I mean, the cooperation is like, it's really necessary sometimes, because it might be quite overwhelming if you want to do it like alone. There is like lots of things to think. Even like for this Vue global meetup, you have lots of things to like prepare, and like that's really But actually, like this global meetups seems like really great idea, and I mean, we kind of have also like kind of global meetup, because like we have like talks from India, from Egypt. That's so I mean, we, at least for Berlin, for Vue.js Berlin, in these times, I'm trying to kind of reach the people like not so kind of famous in the Vue community, and like give them chance to talk, at least have like maybe 10-15 minutes talk, and they can try how is it like to have presentation. I mean, in front of people it's kind of weird because you looking in the camera, but still it's kind of great. It might be really good like starting point for them, because you actually cannot see the people who are watching, so so they can try it like this, and then so hopefully for the next meetup we will also have like more like this international like lineup, and hopefully so
you're doing very well with that.
So hopefully if someone like in the chat wants to have presentation here in June, like just contact us, and we can give you as many time as you want for your presentation. So
we expect no less than 3 hours, of course.
What we were talking about before reminded me about
Sorry?
two UI libraries which were very popular some time ago, not as popular as they used to be in the Western ecosystem. One of them is Element UI, and another one is iVue. They were crazy popular in the times when Vue 2 was starting, or Element UI was also highly popular in the times of Vue 1, because it was one of not many libraries not many big UI libraries that were available and properly maintained. but their problem always was lack of English ecosystem around them. And gradually, with time, they lost their popularity in the Western ecosystem. We don't really hear about them anymore. We only hear about them in context of Chinese community, but in China they are still crazy popular. And especially iVue has one of maintainers who is actually living in Sweden, and he's making sure that people from Western world, when they want to use this project, when they want to read documentation, read issues on GitHub, ask stuff about it, ask questions, then they also can get their answers. So I think we need more such people, but it's difficult to work when such people would need to know both languages, and that's very tricky. That's very difficult to achieve.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I saw your post. I think it was, where was it? In Discord, I think. In the Vue, no, it was Vueland. Maybe it was for event organizers. There was a tweet from some guy that it was like for kind of pre-recording presentations for which is kind of like really nice idea to like mostly like if you have like this point of view from like accessibility, so you can use like subtitles like and everything, you can prepare more like graphics and like everything, and you can be more focused to question and answers, so it might be really nice. But I on the other side, it kind of lost this kind of feeling of being live. So
yeah, it does. There's a way to mitigate it a bit by being active on the chat in real time at the same time, but you cannot really root for the person on the screen if you know it's recorded.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean,
so I'm a big fan of such pre-recorded events, especially if because it also provides a way to, for example, have two versions of slides in one language, and on the other link slides on another language with the same voice, and just different subtitles, different slides, things like that. So I think there will be more initiatives like that too, but we'll see how it goes, because not all the people like something like that.
Yeah.
And it's also a lots of preparation, lots of additional preparation.
Yeah. I mean, this on the other side, this might be more like if you have like the YouTube channel, you can basically have something like this video prepared already, and it doesn't have to be part of some like event or something like that. So you can.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, definitely, I'm really like this idea, and also kind of think about it for Vue.js Berlin, maybe like create some kind of this kind of short videos, like some kind of like, I don't know, introductory or something like that. But yeah, we'll see.
There was something I wanted to talk about.
Norman is sleeping already.
No. I'm just reading the chat, which is probably because I was sitting different. Maybe my eyes don't look close.
I will make a little spoiler. I know that you wanted to ask me how do I think if Vue.js will be still alive in 2030, which is 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And I started to think about it, and I thought, hey, do I really want to be a web developer in 10 years from now? Because ultimately, I would want to, to be a boss of a big company and have other people writing code for me. And I wouldn't really care if they use React, if they use some other library, as long as they make money for me.
That's
But
awesome.
in 10 years, Vue.js will be 15 years old. So
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, how many front-end libraries or front-end projects do you use that were on the market, were in the ecosystem 15 years ago, that were existing in 2005?
jQuery. Da-da-dum.
I don't know if I have any project in jQuery. Actually, I mean, at From2B we have still CMS around somewhere. So, and we used Bootstrap and it was
Bootstrap as well. That's
Yeah,
probably it.
Bootstrap, yeah.
yeah,
That's a very good example.
Bootstrap.
And I think all the like dynamic libraries, or really framework, this whole thing is newer than 15 years, right? Or maybe just started 15 years ago. So we might have a whole different paradigm. Is that how you pronounce it? Anyways, until then.
Yeah.
And everything is VR and stuff like this.
I'm pretty sure Moment has at least 15 years. Moment.js for
Oh yeah, they
writing
gathered a code
updates.
from the size. I would say, at least 15 years.
But what problem I find with such projects, less with Bootstrap, because Bootstrap is already Bootstrap 4, and every next Bootstrap was making lots and lots of breaking changes. They were basically new frameworks with the same name, because they were similar.
Yeah.
But if it was a JavaScript framework, you couldn't actually rewrite all your project in a moment. So because you'd end up with situation like between Angular 1 and Angular 2. So projects like JavaScript framework like Vue.js that would be 15 years old would still depend on so many features that they couldn't, that the authors couldn't make better because of all kinds of keeping all kinds of features backward compatible with older projects. That the older such projects are, the more difficult it is to actually make it modern. So later frameworks like now we have Svelte, which is I think it's still too early for Svelte, because people still need to to compile their code in browser and not on the server, not in the compiler.
Yeah.
They still need to
I think Svelte is a fantastic idea, but it needs much more time to develop in a way that it feels natural enough, I would say.
Yeah. So projects that
I actually really like the idea, though. Sorry.
Yeah, I like the idea too, and I think we'll have quite a few frameworks that will bring enough of a revolution that they will make things like React, like Vue.js in 10 years. I hope so, because if they don't, then it means that the technical world, the internet, is basically stagnating. I don't want the internet to be, I would love us, for example, to have internet on our glasses, like in science fiction movies, because why not?
Because why not? Exactly.
Yeah. I think
according to all the movies, to all the games, we should already have it. It's 2020.
I mean, I last week I listened to a podcast with Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, and he already mentioned his Neuralink thing, and he already mentioned that like in 10 years it should be possible, something like you already saw in the sci-fi movies, that you don't have to have like this in a glasses. You can see it like directly in your like retina, like somewhere like projecting in front of you. So, but I mean, Elon Musk, it's kind of his.
Yeah, but sooner or later this will be the future. I'm not sure if I would use Vue.js for visual, UI interfaces for devices like that.
Yeah.
We didn't predict the mobile revolution, which brought so many changes to website design. So there were a lot of people that knew that sooner or later Flash websites will be dead, and almost. Have you ever made a website from start to end in Flash?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, me too. But it's really long ago, actually.
Yeah, nobody does it anymore.
Yeah.
And so I'm still waiting for another revolution like that. And back to role-playing games. I mentioned that it's 2020, and we already have you played Cyberpunk 2020?
No, I mean you mean the tabletop game, right?
Yeah, the tabletop game
because
Cyberpunk 2077 later this year.
Yeah.
So in the origin,
No, I didn't play it.
In the original game, all kinds of such improvements to your own body, to ways in which you can communicate with internet, which internet didn't exist by the time they were writing the game, even the original game, and so we're kind of late with stuff like that. But
I mean we should have flying cars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are all flying cars, seriously.
Yeah. So. But actually, that's right. Yeah. But yeah, you never know. But this, I mean, you can see some improvements like in the technology right now, but it's still kind of disappointing for at least for me as a sci-fi lover, and this is, yeah. I mean, I played lots of games like Deus Ex and this kind of games.
Yeah.
That's also it's basically same like this cyberpunk thing. And
I still need to finish the previous Deus Ex. I didn't play Mankind Divided because I didn't finish the previous one on PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
And I don't have PlayStation 3 anymore, so I cannot finish it.
Yeah, I actually. I mean, Mankind Divided was in Prague, right? The one in Prague.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually didn't. I stopped playing it because they kind of ruined the Prague totally.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I didn't really bring it together seriously. I mean, the city was so different. Didn't really matter.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. That's just.
Oh wait, did I maybe play the one before Mankind Divided? Do you know how that was called?
Human Revolution.
Human Revolution was a really great game, but I never finished it
might
because
have been this one.
I didn't have access anymore.
So where
I have the game, I don't have console.
That was the one where the people were still kind of okayish with augmentations, but it was starting to get problems, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the next one was where they just put them in concentration camps and shit like this.
Yeah. No, that's...
Okay. I played the one before then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we are back at games.
Yeah. I told you last time that I can talk about games for hours.
Well, we can. We have time. I hope that there will be either remake or remaster of Human Revolution, because I need to finish it at some point. But there was this history game in Bohemia. I totally forgot it.
Yeah, you mean the Kingdom Come Deliverance?
Yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance. I have the game. I didn't start playing it.
You know,
I bet you played it because it's in Bohemia. So what did you think about it?
I mean I'm actually biased because I kind of worked for them for Warhorse Studios. I worked for them since I prepared for them like the website for the Kickstarter campaign and did all their websites and everything like since then.
Mhm.
So yeah, I also, but honestly I didn't play the game. Like,
So friends of mine played it and said that it's really, really good. It had like some really strange bugs and really crazy bugs. But apart from that, they said that it's a fantastic game.
I mean, it's fantastic game actually. Yeah, but I kind of heard about the game a lot. Because I prepared all the websites and everything, so I had access to all pre-alphas, alphas, betas, and everything. So I played like in the like before. So yeah, but yeah, actually I still trying to find the time to start playing it, but honestly, everyone is leaving. Like, oh, whatever. Let's continue with games.
So okay, going back a little to topic of Vue, of Vue.js, do you know any games that have websites made with Vue.js? And
actually,
no, and a huge budget games. Because I remember at least two, which are huge titles.
Yeah, I mean, actually,
Sure.
I wrote the the website for Warhorse Studios in Vue.js, but I think
Uh-huh.
it's kind of didn't work well at the end. That's for some weird reasons. So yeah, but yeah, for the I'm not sure.
So one of the topics is God of War. The websites for God of War and their company are made with Vue.js. And the other, some of websites for Assassin's Creed are also made with Vue.js. I don't know if the latest, the Vikings one is Vue.js, but some of the promotional websites for previous games were also made with Vue.js.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I'm not sure if Detroit Become Human. I think it also had the website with Vue.js, but I'm not sure at this point.
yeah. So no, Witcher don't have.
Yeah, it was too early.
Yeah, yeah. I actually started playing Witcher,
Yeah,
the game, the first one, again.
the first again. Okay, so you
Never
finished the
played it.
trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of
Mhm,
read all the books and
mhm.
saw all the movies and all the things. Even the old one, the Polish one, dude.
Yeah,
It was how was the name of the actor? It's like it was really nice.
Żebrowski. I
Zebrowski,
forgot the name.
yeah.
Mm.
That's yeah, and
But you were mhm.
yeah, come.
You were in good situation because ch- the first official translation of Witcher books was in Czech language.
Yeah, and
The second one was Russian.
yeah, it's really good translation. Yeah, I love the books. It's at least the first, like the main five. The last one, the eighth one, is not like so good, but
I remember meeting a translator for Hungarian books of Witcher. It was by accident because I went to Polish Institute in Budapest, and it just happened that the girl working there knew a girl who was translating the books, and the girl who was translating the books was working only 50 meters further in art gallery.
yeah.
So we went there to talk with her, and she was all the time complaining that people don't buy the books for the books. They buy the books because they have covers from the game. So they think the books are about the content from the games.
Yeah, that's nice.
Now probably people will be buying books because they think, okay, yeah, it is actually more or less the same content as the movies, as the series, so it's fine now. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about the new series?
I'll be honest, I didn't finish it yet.
I liked it, but I didn't have any comparison to an old series or anything.
Okay.
I didn't even play the games.
Yeah, I mean, I played all the games, I read all the books, and obviously when I didn't have kids, so I managed to do that before. So yeah, so I think the TV series it has some like pros. Definitely, it's really really like visually it's really nice. I think it's really good, and also I like the Henry Cavill is, I think he's fine. I mean,
Yeah, he's doing good job.
I mean it might be worse.
Wow.
But it might be also like better. So like I saw it like for like every episode, and I think it goes better and better, like from the beginning.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It might be a little bit confusing for new people because there are like some switching the timelines and everything.
Yeah, lots of people didn't know what's going on with the time, so they thought it's all in the same timeline.
Because they don't know that like Witcher and witches, like they are living really long time, so you are now like 100 back like before, and like this like jumping up and down as. But on the other side, I think.
Yeah, but it might just be intentional that people just don't get it in the beginning, but then see, of course, this is how it blah 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 blah. So,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I mean, at the end, I think it was kind of like above average TV show for now. Like for the first season, it was above average. I mean, except the armor of the what was the of the Nilfgaard. That this scrotum armor.
Yeah. I think the series is doing a good job of proving that there is there is place for fantasy series after Games of Thrones.
Yeah.
Lots of people thought that it's a one-time wonder, and they won't. Any new series, even based on books or based on games, won't be successful anymore. So because Witcher became popular, and it is successful, not at the same level, but hey, it's still only first season for now. And there are some other TV series that are also based on books or other stuff that will show up on Amazon, on Netflix, on other platforms that I would really love to see. So hopefully.
Yeah, I mean they what's the they are shooting the Gesundheit. They are shooting
Gesundheit.
Waste of time.
Yeah, and also I think Lord of the Rings, right? TV series, or Hobbit. There is TV series. I don't know if it's.
Yeah, there will be something, but I'm not sure what exactly about.
Yeah, it should. Yeah, I think on Amazon is shooting like Lord of the Rings TV series, like the big one. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I think like the Witcher was fine, and I think that the second season would be better, much more better. Yeah. I mean, if you compare it, I mean, kind of, if you compare it with Game of Thrones, I saw all the 8 seasons, right? Or 10? I don't know. I don't remember.
I didn't watch it at all, so I have no idea.
Yeah, so it was kind of until they have like really big inspiration from the book. It was fine, and when the books ended, like it went like really downhill. And they started like to think like, oh, okay, we can do it like this or this, and they totally like screw it up. So, but
I see. too bad. No, I probably will not start watching it anyways because my problem is always like, okay, there's a new series and everyone is really liking it. So that is a hype thing. I don't have anything to do with that.
Yeah.
But then after a while, I'm usually watching it and then maybe also liking it. By the 8th season,
that's a lot.
And actually, but right now it's a good time because you have all the 8 seasons. You can watch it like you don't have to wait for another episodes or something.
Yeah, but I also have a life. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah, it's not compatible at the moment.
Yeah, I know that.
Maybe after I build this nice magic card to it, not magic, D&D card to it.
And sell it to someone for big money.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. If no one else found the open source code until then.
But yeah, actually, you remind me that there is a TV show. There is a TV show on Apple TV Plus, and it's the name is what's the name? Raven Banquet or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about it's the TV show about the gaming studio. They are doing some RPG game.
That would be nice. Yeah.
And it's really nice. Sure. It has like I think 10 episodes for first season. It's like
it's a show about making a game, or is it a show inside a game? No, it's about making a game. Okay.
Yeah. It's like about the gaming studio.
Nice. It might be interesting.
And it's the humor is really. I mean, it's like the comedy. It's like it's the TV sitcom. It's like really like.
Okay.
But it's really. You need to be used to it, to this type of humor, because sometimes it's really hard to grasp this kind of humor. But I watched it already twice, the whole like the season, and I still think it's really nice and really. I'm really hopefully there will be second season. Yeah, so I definitely like recommend to check it. I think every episode has like 25 or 30 minutes, so it's.
That should be something very nice to watch.
Yeah. So,
by the way, should we maybe? Okay, we just got one more person. Right? We are a bit afraid that people are just running away because we are just completely drifting away from any Vue.js topic. So if anyone who is still online wants us to talk about something different, just tell us. Not a problem.
I mean, we can
ask us a question. We'll talk about this topic.
We can also talk about Bitcoin.
No.
Oh no. I'm really tired of banning all this Bitcoin spammer on.
We'll see. We'll see in the future.
You know, if you want to talk about it from a technical point of view, something cool stuff. Okay, fair enough. But trading.
Yeah, actually, yesterday was the halving of the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Which means that you can if you mine it, you get only like half of the Bitcoin.
So now he actually lurked us into the topic. Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I read it. Yes.
I mean, actually, that and the code for the halving, it's really nice. Actually, it's really like 6 lines of code. It's basically if something its number and it's then just divided by or not divided. You not divided. You moving the floating point.
It's one more digit, right? Basically, just as soon as the hashes that are calculated are a bit shorter or something, then things half.
Yeah.
Something like this, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
actually pretty simple.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, let's call it elegant.
See what happened? The moment you started talking about Bitcoins, we lost one person watching.
Yeah, that person that came in between probably.
We finished and it's back. Yeah.
You can come back. Okay.
Okay, yeah. No, so no Bitcoin. Okay. Which actually I think I wanted, even like it's kind of slightly related with Bitcoin. There is like sorry, still there. Hey, he's back. Okay, nice.
Okay, now you can't talk about Bitcoins anymore.
Because there is for Bitcoin they're preparing the Lightning Network, which is the like kind of over the top of the Bitcoin, and allowing like to really quick he's gone the like really quick like transfers. So you can, because Bitcoin is really slow. If you pay for it for the Bitcoin, it took some time, like 10 minutes to process everything. The Lightning Network over this is really nice kind of addition, and it might be really. I want to in the future try to like look at it, how to use it, like for example with Vue.js, like inside, like kind of to have some kind of library for this. It might be interesting. So maybe it's already existing, but it might be really nice, because I mean, of course Bitcoin is the future, right?
Nope. I mean, a digital something currency might be a future, but it doesn't have to be Bitcoin, definitely.
Yeah, but it's also a risk. What if we lose all the digital world at one point? You know, somebody plugs the electricity off.
I mean, then we lose everything anyways. I don't think that there's a big difference.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you kill one server, there is still like a million others. So it's like this is.
But if you plug off all the electricity, all our bankings and everything, they will just die.
Yeah.
I mean, the economy would be completely dead anyway, with or without electronic cash.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean.
And who cares about economy, right?
No, let's not talk about the economy.
Now we're down to 8 people, by the way. Thanks for talking about Bitcoins more.
Yeah. Thanks for trusting us that we actually have something to talk about.
Sure.
Okay, Gustav. So, Gustav, do you think that the Vue.js community is the best community?
I wish it was. I hope it is. But I always, try to look at what can be done better than how good it is already. So I'm always looking for maybe we could do this thing in another way, and we would have better outcome. For me, Vue.js community is good. I like it that it's growing. I like that it's that especially people who are working on stuff for Vue.js for other users, or just helping other people on forum or whatever, that they are organizing together. For me, that's highly important, and I like it that we, as ecosystem, get more mature. So we went through the phase where we were just hyped about Vue.js. Now we're trying to make Vue.js ecosystem in which people can actually make money. People can make their own companies and bring new workers, school them to use Vue.js, and I like that people are actually thinking about it, thinking how to use Vue.js to bring more money to the ecosystem. There are some very good communities. I was a big fan of Meteor community in the past, but it was the time when the developer scene was still it still looked different. Now we have access to much more things than what we had, for example, 10 years ago. There are much more local events, like local meetups, because it's much easier to find a sponsor or a company that will provide an office. Now it's popular. Now it's trendy. If you asked for an office, if you would ask a company for an office for a meetup 10 years ago, they would ask you how much they want to pay for that.
Yeah.
And now they treat it as okay. It's a way for us to promote. It's a way for us to maybe find somebody to work with us, stuff like that. The same with conferences. The same with online meetings, like now.
Yeah.
10 years ago, it would be impossible to make a YouTube event like this.
No.
Because
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You're right, because like 10 years ago, and like for example in Prague, there was like two meetups like in a month. And right now you have like meetup almost like every second every second day or something like that. So, and that's really nice. So, I mean, of course, like I really love maybe it's maybe too strong word, but as I was a part of the Rails community in the past, I still think it has really nice community. Sometimes maybe the community is like kind of divided somehow. Like there are like some really big like kind of, I would say, currents or something like that, or ways. Like you have like this like one is like the Basecamp approach, like which is like really good, and then you have like the others, like because like I honestly like I think the Basecamp approach is for me, like I really still think it's really nice ideas, and they have lots of things, and like DHH.
What is the Basecamp approach?
Basecamp approach, they really support like fully remote work. It's more like it's same like GitLab, so they don't have any like local like one office, so they are more like decentralized. Like everyone can work everywhere. It doesn't matter. And for example for salaries, it's really nice that everyone in the company has the same salary, and it even if you live like in the India or in Czech Republic or in San Francisco, everyone has the same salary. I mean the kind of yeah. So it's really nice, like this approach, and they really trying to push this kind of that every developer is kind of grown up person. They don't need to be kind of led by others. So everyone is working as a like every single unit, and together they can do like really nice things.
I also think that this is one of the things that I really like about my consultancy work now, because from a consultant, everyone expects to be grown up, you know. So I really like this, like working with people who just know what they're doing and who you can trust that they, you know, don't push too much ego, but still have a lot of experience and so on at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, there can be lots of like bullshit around every project, and if you have like really responsible people, you don't have to think about this kind of things. It's kind of work. So
speaking of bullshit and about communities, Vue.js community grew in a good moment, because we grew already after React, already after other big projects on backend and frontend, and we could take advantage of all the lessons that we learned from other communities. Bigger communities like React was for a long time a lot bigger community than us, and by observing what was happening in the React community or in other communities, we could learn from the mistakes and not repeat them. So I'm very thankful to React for that. I'm very thankful to other communities. And after us, after Vue.js, probably the biggest community that came after Vue.js would be Jamstack. because Jamstack, now has meetups all over the world. They try to work together with doing online meetups. They have lots of people writing tutorials, giving talks like Samuel gives talks for Storyblock, and lots of companies are pushing it to be Jamstack to be popular as as a term.
Yeah.
And they are also probably learning from things we had in Vue.js. And the same with Svelte. Svelte is also learning from us now, just like we were learning from React.
Yeah.
Svelte had their first event. They had their first event last year in October. I think it was October in New York. And but they couldn't find an office for that event. Even if Richard is the author of Svelte was supposed to give a talk, and soon later now they have no problem. The community learned, the community grew, they checked how others are doing it, and they're doing very fine. I hope Svelte community will be growing.
Yeah, me too, definitely. I would actually like to be part of this community a bit more. Somehow I don't really find time anymore for things like this. Yeah, I need to make time, I think. I also think that not only the communities can learn from each other, also all these frameworks are learning from each other anyways, right? I mean, Vue.js learned a lot from React. React learned probably also from Vue.js, although they are very idealistic sometimes. But I think that all these technologies will learn from each other anyways, and they will merge into something awesome new that we then have in 2030, as we already discussed. So let's see where this goes. But I think that the approaches that we have currently are, far from final anyways.
Yeah, so we will have something like, I don't know, review Glar or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And some better name probably.
Yeah, I need to trademark it or something like that.
Oh, please do.
Yeah, I definitely have Svetla on my to-do list for this year, but hopefully I will find.
I actually already built some page with Svelte. For Zalando. But they are actually using React for everything. And in the end, they rebuilt the whole thing in React, which was a bit stupid because seriously, this Svelte page was so much more performant and so much better fitting the job. But yeah, that's how it is, right? The team decided. So what can you do? Sorry, I hope you don't hear my chewing noises.
No, I don't.
If you do say something, then I'm stopping.
Yeah, that's fine. Enjoy. I will drink too.
Okay. But we managed to go down to 7 people.
Yeah.
Hey, if you are in the 7 and your name is not Darek, your name is not Jiří, and your name is not Norman, because I'm pretty sure out of those 7, 3 are us. Then please write on the chat that you're still here.
Yeah, well, maybe I try to close it. Yeah.
Hey.
Nice.
Yeah. If you are all the time here, you should have joined us for to make this conversation for people.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe we can try it for the next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the moment you can. At the moment we could actually get everyone in. But you can't also remotely put people on mute, right? Jiří?
I can.
You can.
I can.
So-
I can mute
So that
you
would work.
like this. Now you mute. Now you can speak. But I cannot unmute you.
Jiří, you asked me yesterday about my blog. I told you that I tried to release my blog
Yeah.
every Friday. I think, during the weekend I will finally release my blog, and on Monday I announce it. And on Monday I realized, I was supposed to do it. So when you asked me yesterday, hey, how's your blog? I thought, hey, oh no, it's Monday again. So I thought I will have it ready, and I will by day. And I was working on that all day today, and I realized how much work it actually is, how much work the tutorial authors put in their work. It's a crazy amount of effort to do. So I really appreciate those people that they actually share knowledge, that they actually put so much into it.
You are building it with our beloved Gritsum, right?
Yeah, with Gritsum. I'm using Tailwind starter for that, but working on that, I actually thought, hey, I customized it so much that I probably should release my own starter for Gritsum and Tailwind. We'll see if it actually makes any sense.
Yeah.
But it's pretty fun thing to do. Gritsum works well. It's easy to customize. It's easy to work with. So I can recommend it.
Yeah.
Especially as a blogging platform.
I use Gritsum. I use Gritsum for so many projects now. It's definitely my favorite framework around Vue.js. If I'm not using Vue.js directly, then I use Gritsum usually. No. The only thing is the whole server-side rendering, which gives you sometimes a bit headache if you do things that seem to be totally normal and suddenly, or if you include a plugin that is so awesome, and then a week later you try to build the whole thing and realize this plugin is definitely not going to work. And then that is, and it's unfortunately a true story, and it's my own plugin. So let's see how we do this.
Yeah. Actually, I try to update our Vue.js Berlin website over the weekend, but I actually add the Tailwind to our website.
Yeah.
I mean not. I mean I have it only in my local for now. But I mean actually.
What was your plan?
What?
What's your plan? You might ask the original developer of the website. Maybe you get some help or something.
Yeah, I was actually I added like the photos of the like presenters and like other things. But I had.
You know that we are using a CMS, right? Where things are instead usually.
Yeah, I know that, but I mean we didn't have it like in the GraphQL query these things.
Oh, I see.
So yeah,
okay,
I just add them, but I noticed you add some renderless component for the talks or presentations, something like that.
Yes.
So and I had some issues with this because it's you need to kind of format it the props correctly.
I think I know what you mean. It's a bit blurry because it's quite long ago, but
yeah, because you have like if you have like for example photos, you need to because they have like you have like photos object with underscore fields and everything, like you need to. Yeah, it's.
I'm sorry, but if anyone from Contentful is in here, please do something about it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so I was completely lost because I managed to do the presenters because like map them correctly, but then it went more deeper and more deeper. And so I try to. I was completely stuck and frustrated and stopped.
The tree structure that is coming back from that rich text editor thing from Contentful, pretty crazy. Because they wrap everything twice anyway somehow, and then if you have the rich text editor, you can add like different document types inside that document, and that one is of course again wrapped thrice, if that's even a wrap. That's pretty crazy, and every single document type and a picture and so on, they are all crazy deep nested.
Yeah,
it's really not nice. It's really not nice.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I actually wrote something to unwrap things. Maybe you somehow stumbled over that.
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean? There is some.
There should be some code that is making the objects a bit simpler.
Yeah.
Like especially pictures and so on.
Maybe I missed it, or maybe I just.
Maybe I'm messing it up and it was a different project.
Yeah, maybe.
I have no idea.
Just wait a second.
I can have a look.
We lost Jiří.
He just walked away. Good.
Yeah.
So Gusto, how are you doing?
Great. Tell me, have you ever seen Ivan Yu's website?
I don't think so.
Check it and tell me what you think about it.
Which website exactly? Can you put the link? Also for the other people.
Let me Google that for you, because I don't remember the title. I don't remember the address. ivanu.me.
Oh, maybe I saw this page already.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I know that page. Yeah, it's like extremely simplistic. I love it actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not using Vue.js, right? Am I right?
No. It's not. I think so.
No, it's not. It's really simple. It's just exactly.
Yeah, I think there's no real reason to use Vue.js.
Yeah. The only thing that he's importing is the Rubik font, and the rest is some super simple style sheet and static content. Really nice. Yeah. I'm sure it gets 100 points on any speed test.
Well, okay, we should check.
I mean, my personal website is very similar. It's, it's a tad more complex, but it's also as static as possible.
Yeah.
So, come on, now that we are with advertisement, here's my personal website. There we go. But it's also, I also kept everything out that is really not necessary. But there is a bit of JavaScript in it. With for some hidden fun feature. That's it.
Okay.
Like 15 lines also, I don't know.
No analytics or anything like that?
I use an analytics. How is it called? Shit, I forgot how it is called. Let me check the source code, I will find it. Goat counter is what I'm using. And goat counter is, I think it's even open source, I'm not sure, but it's rather simple, just plain analytics, like show me the amount of users and maybe a few details about them, but no crazy marketing, like funnels and all this stuff doesn't exist in there. And they take really care about privacy, so they don't really save anything that is not absolutely necessary. That's why I'm using Code Counter. I used to use just web server analytics, web server logs analytics, this way around, because I'm hosting my website myself. But with some projects that I then started hosting on Netlify, I wanted to find something that I can use everywhere, so I switched to Code Counter. So Goat, now that we are having a chat here, Goat Counter, you'll definitely find it by searching for it. Nice
yeah,
distinct
good.
name.
Yeah.
Mm. It's
You
pretty
might
good.
be hungry with those cookies, so I'll come back with my cookies.
I'm sorry, yeah. Okay.
I'm back.
Nice. Yeah. What do
Now
you
we can
have?
eat.
I have bretzels actually.
Yeah. I have something we call in Poland Pishinger from German, probably. Is it the actual word, Pishinger? I think because I'm from the Austrian part of Poland, from the Austro-Hungarian part of Poland.
Okay.
So we got lots of words for food or stuff from Austrian German.
Yeah. So if it is a German word, then I don't know it because it's Austrian German or Bavarian.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Oh. So it's like something like caramel between waffles?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, we starting talking about biscuits. That's really interesting.
I mean,
Bitcoin, biscuits, code counter.
That's what we usually talk about on real life meetups. We talk about pizza, we talk about beer.
So,
you
actually,
try to
we should
check
start,
which pizza is better.
We should start making pizzas. So everyone who is in the call has to have a pizza and then show it, and then we can make a poll which pizza is the best.
Ah. I think the best cook in the Vue.js core team is Guillaume Acrium.
Okay.
And he's showing off a lot of his food adventures on Twitter lately, when he's baking different things or cooking different things.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, I saw that. I actually never really thought him to be like cooking, like interested in cooking, but I think he's just this kind of nerd who's interested in everything.
So we're on the topic of Hawaiian pizza.
That's an evil topic.
There is a huge fan of Hawaiian pizza in the Vue.js ecosystem. It's Don Nico from Italy but living in Hungary, author of maintainer of Vue to Leaflet library, one of the organizers of Vue.js Budapest meetups, working at GitLab right now, and because he's from Italy, so he's always getting angry when we mention that there can be pineapple on pizza, stuff like that. So we like to irritate him, especially on when there was the Vue conference in Verona. They had very 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 good pizzerias there, and it was supposed to be this year also in Korea, but they moved it to September. We'll probably have to move it again. I don't think they will allow events like conferences in September in Italy, especially in north of Italy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I quickly muted myself before I speak.
And speaking of that, our friend Logarithm was also supposed to speak there on the conference.
Yeah.
From what I remember, it was supposed to be your first conference talk, right? Or not?
We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, from what I remember, it was supposed to be debut. Yeah. Well, hopefully September. If not, then probably next year.
Yeah.
No, it was very good event.
Going to be his first, yeah.
Not conferences today. This year, it's sad.
I think it's much sadder that there are also no festivals and anything.
Oh, yeah.
Not a huge festival person, let's say, but having the possibility to go to a festival, I think is nice.
Yeah, I'm more like conferences. I mean, yeah. I mean, there are still borders are still closed, so.
Yeah, but even when they open the borders, when I start traveling again, wherever I go, most of the events will be, shut down. Not only technical events, but all the other stuff. At least, hopefully things like museums or other things will be open.
I think that there should be
National
open.
I think they are already opening, or like very soon at least. I remember something like this, that museums, zoos, and all these kinds of like large places open again.
I mean, they already opened IKEA yesterday here in Berlin, so.
Of course, IKEA. They can't open normal shops or tattoo studios, but IKEA has to open.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to
tourist destination.
Yeah. But yeah, that's.
Actually, they're also opening hairdressers and probably also barbers, which is really good for me because I seriously need a shave.
I don't need that.
I don't know.
I shaved yesterday. Completely.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, so looking like 15. Okay, I would say 17.
Thank you.
Yeah. In the Polish language, we call it gładki jak pupcia niemowlęcia, which means that you are soft like a little baby's butt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We have the same.
Yeah, we say something similar in German as well.
Yeah.
It's less sound.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Jak dziecka perdelka.
Oh.
That's the.
Weich wie ein Baby Popo. No sound. Okay, here I have another guest.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you see her? It's probably too dark. Hi.
Dark side. Yeah.
Now we lost you. Oh, yeah. Hey. I missed you.
Yeah.
No, I see it in the live video at least. Nice. But somehow my camera is turning off. I don't know why. Now it's back. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do we have any more topics? Didn't you have more questions for Gusto prepared?
Yeah. I think we already.
Yeah, I was supposed to ask you because we were talking today about Chinese, about Portuguese, about other stuff. What do you think? Do we actually need more tutorials in German language or courses or talks or stuff?
No,
or
actually, I don't think so. I mean, it's never a bad thing. Sorry, I had to rescue my dog because she's stupid. It's never a bad thing to have tutorials translated, of course, but I think the German IT community is, pretty anglified. Anglified. Yeah, but it's never a bad thing to translate stuff, of course. And I might also be biased because I'm in Berlin, always working with international teams. So maybe it's actually not as good as I think it is.
I mean, actually, I think that it makes sense to make like local content for example, in German or in Czech or whatever, because there are still, I mean, yes, of course, like our IT community is like really used to speak English, or at least like most of the people are used to speak English, or at least have kind of understanding of English. So
yeah,
it's better, but like still, I think it still has a kind of own market. There might be some market or like place to have like localized content for maybe for like younger developers or like
yeah, or for older ones. Actually,
or for older ones, on the other side, yeah.
Especially, if I think if we can make some people who always use jQuery, and that's why use jQuery, make Vue.js instead, making Vue.js instead, or whatever, by just translating something, I would really prefer that, of course. Just bringing people to new technology. I really think that a lot of old stuff, including PHP, is still used because it's so old that even German translations and Czech translations exist. So, and it was always there, of course. That's another thing. But yeah, let's not bash on PHP. I had to bring it. I'm really sorry, actually. I actually heard that in the newest version it became much better somehow. I didn't really read why.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think I stopped somewhere at around 4 version, PHP 4. So, yeah.
What is the current one? 8?
8 or 7, something like that. So.
Yeah, I stopped at 5, so I didn't get the new good experience with PHP. Only the old bad one.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I had one serious project in PHP, like I have no idea how many years ago. And back then I already used some actual MVP-like framework, so I didn't really write this crappy code inside the template stuff that you know from the early days of PHP. So it had an actual template language and an actual controller code, stuff like this. And even an ORM, which was pretty good actually. Back then I think that was the best one that I ever used, because it just did stuff to your database without you having to take care of it at all. So you just wrote your models and everything, you just wrote what you need, and it did the database for you. And then when you build it with a flag, it would just freeze the database. But until then, in development mode, it would just change tables, whatever the way you need it, without you ever touching the database. That was pretty awesome. Yeah. But the rest was horrible. And the application was, it failed so badly because it combined PHP and email parsing and handling. But that had to be a disaster. And it was. Yeah, good old time.
Yeah, I think,
Well,
I
for,
use... Sorry.
Continue. For many years, I used PHP without any framework, with a framework that I myself wrote, because I didn't really realize that there are already written things that I could use instead. I knew there was this. I knew there were CMSs, and I didn't know how that real frameworks would provide really big advantage. I knew that there was Rails for Ruby. I didn't know that there could be something like that for PHP too. And
so don't worry that I'm done. I'll be back in a second. Just getting a charger.
The alternatives in PHP weren't really good or popular, so I was writing my own code from scratch with authorization, everything, own templating system, and it was barely even working. I didn't really know what's going on in the code itself. I was just happy that I'm able to make websites and get some money for them. I imagine lots and lots of people were in the same situation like me.
Yeah.
Now it's so much better because even new developers in PHP or elsewhere are already exposed to frameworks where they have everything, documentation, tutorials, stuff like that. You can learn from so many places, from so many people. Yeah. I didn't have that, and I wish I had.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think I used, what was the name? I think Zend framework for PHP.
Oh, that is such a creepy piece of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also...
I hated it.
Also, I try to sometimes use we have in Czech Republic, we have like Nete framework, which is also kind of, it's more like Czech thing. And it's something like, I think like something like Laravel or pretty close to Laravel, or the other one. What's the name? Symfony. Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, that was actually
I used Symfony for a long time.
Yeah, when I work at the company, we wrote like the PHP. It was a 4, and we had like own framework, and it was not framework. It was just like really long lines of codes, like like thousands of codes. It was like separated in the folders, like really. It looks like cool, kind of.
It looked cool.
But actually it was only one file, like index file, and you require everything inside.
Oh yeah.
So.
And then just concatenate it.
Yeah, so
good old times. Yeah.
That was really scary. Because what we actually wrote was the kind of software for Czech universities, like for students and teachers, and like the timetables and everything, every possible like so you can like set up your schedules and everything. So it was really fun, and like we also like there was like lots of kind of, I don't know if in these times was the name, but lots of memes around our system. From the students from the universities, they had to use it.
Yeah.
So because when there was a time for you had to sign up your courses for the next year, it was always like crashing and like lots of weird bugs, and it was funny. Yeah,
they didn't have any auto scaling Amazon cloud stuff, right?
No, we actually we had a server in the under the roof. Which was
under the roof even. Oh
yes.
Shit.
Yeah. It was
okay.
Yeah, Oracle server, so it was funny. But yeah, I mean,
bad times.
They are still, I think it's still working actually, the software. But yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I think they switched to Symfony, but still. Still using PHP. Not cool.
Yeah, of course. I mean, long ago, that's the past.
Yeah.
It is, right? It's the past.
For me, yes, because
for us, yes, but for the community, no. And,
I left the company because of that, because it was.
Yeah, that's exactly that. PHP and jQuery pay our bills. So.
I mean that's.
Yeah.
For me,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was more like Rails. They had paid the bills.
I switched from PHP to Node around the time that Node showed up. It was around 2012 or something like. No, later. Okay, so it was later, late 2013, I think. And initially, I was brokenhearted because back then I was already using Symfony, so I knew that big framework really provides lots of features that I don't have to write. When I saw Express, I thought, hey, I need to write everything from scratch. I have so many libraries that don't really work together. They are not documented. Nobody maintains them. Nobody knows how to use them, so I cannot ask anybody for help. So I thought, hey, it's more like Wild West in comparison to PHP ecosystem back then. But and then I switched to Meteor, which was very nice, had great community, but it was too experimental. And
I also think Meteor did something really, really, let's say, wrong. I'm not sure if you can say wrong, but the whole idea of just melting everything in one is probably never has been a good one, I think.
It sounded good. It was promising something very good. And when you had it in your project, it was amazing how it worked. It was much, but it was just too tricky to maintain, and the cost you had to pay for that was way too big. I remember switching back from Meteor to regular Node ecosystem and later to Vue. And when I started using Vue, I was disappointed. Because I already knew Ivan knew from Meteor times, so I knew that he should provide something that would be similar to how reactivity in Meteor worked. And it turned out that in Vue.js, everything required much more boilerplate than I was used to. And the reactivity that Vue.js is famous for, and React was famous for, in Meteor, reactivity was, both on the front end and on the back end. Anything that you required on front end, from the back end, you instantly had the reactive in your front end, so on the screen. So it was even if other users changed it, so it was something really amazing. But after I realized how much cost I have to pay for that, and the ecosystem, the community was switching off from that. Until this day, until 2020, there's no real good framework in whole Node ecosystem. Either Koa and Express, which are very small, or some big projects like Adonis or Feathers or Sales, which don't have big communities, don't have tutorials, courses, events, or stuff like that. And I'm still waiting, and probably it will never happen. So I think Node will die faster than PHP, because PHP is going, PHP is growing. Node is not growing. Maybe when Deno shows up, the Dino.
Maybe Dino changes something. Might be.
Hopefully.
I like some ideas I like a lot. Some are questionable. I would call them questionable. Yeah. But I think it has a good chance to be really nice. But there's still a long way to go, because one huge thing they did is that it is not by default compatible, or doesn't even by default have a compatibility layer to existing Node.js stuff. Which is really sad, because the code is practically the same. It's only the import system that breaks it, right? So it's like you have like millions of packages that could do all kinds of stuff for you, and now you have changed them. You have to change them all just because you think that URLs are much cooler for import. I don't know. That it would be nicer to have a migration path here, like to have at least some middleware thing that says, okay, hey, it's not a problem. We get special URLs that are something like localhost or whatever, and some middleware that is interpreting everything that doesn't have an URL to this special URL. Stuff like this. Why not, right? Yeah. And then you could use a huge existing ecosystem in this really cool new technology. But instead they decided to go against that. I'm not sure if that breaks the neck in the end. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Maybe this middleware thing is coming anyways, and then someone just figures out how to do it, and then it's all right.
I would like to ask Emily about your stack. Emily, what is your stack? I know you use PHP, but what frameworks, what database, other parts of the system? We'll probably have to wait for the answer. If she's still here, it's possible she's not.
Yeah, can you just fade in the music?
I don't know if the music is playing actually.
The music from Joe's.
Oh yeah, so we wouldn't hear it anyways, right? Thank you, let me try.
Vue, Tailwind, PHP plus GraphQL. Nice.
That's a nice stack actually. I mean, the PHP part is for me. I guess if you like PHP, then it's a really nice stack. I have this urge to write back, but we can actually just talk to them.
Yeah. Great thought. Yeah, so this is the interaction part of the event.
Yeah.
How do you like Tailwind? Okay, we were talking about Tailwind on the previous event, and about Tailwind event.
Jiří, did you change something? Because I can hear Gusto twice now.
Yeah, probably because I started talking louder.
Yeah, that's fine now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I personally think that Tailwind is awesome.
Yeah.
That I'm underusing it.
Yes. I want to rewrite everything with Tailwind.
But how do you do it? Do you just throw like a billion classes at everything? Or do you put them together into components with add something? You know, import or whatever the whatever happens. You know what I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
I tried to use just classes, but turned out it's not really the best way to use it, because Tailwind authors promote the idea that we should use components, like Vue.js components, to actually make our code reusable. But the moment we start using components, we have a problem of how to overwrite the CSS from outside to inside components. If we just pass a set of new classes, CSS in JavaScript, it would work, because JavaScript allows us to overwrite old content with new content. But CSS doesn't work like that. For example, if we add a new class to a new CSS class to element, it may not overwrite the previous stuff, especially if in Tailwind declaration, the class that we try to overwrite is written earlier than the other class. So, for example, if we have two classes, one class for green lighter color and later class for green darker color, and we try to replace one class with another, it won't work. We won't be able to overwrite it, because Tailwind will give bigger priority to the class that it learned about earlier in its own code, in its own CSS declarations. So the system is fundamentally broken, but it's not even the fault of Tailwind. It's just how CSS works. So when I realized it, when I tried to experiment with it to make it work, I simply started making just sets of Tailwind classes that I can initialize by passing some props to the components.
Yeah, this is actually how I do. So I'm just using variables, like a ton of variables. I'm just setting it like CSS variables is what I mean.
Yeah.
In my current, in my current or last-ish project. So officially it's already done, but I'm actually secretly still working on it because I'm not really where I want to be with it. So I just add like a huge amount of CSS variables to the root element or to root element of components and use that in the CSS. So as long as it's about colors, sizes, whatever, I can use them. And that is very nice and interactive. And I really try to separate all these things from each other. There's also one thing why I'm, when we talked about CSS in JS, I said that I really don't like the idea because this whole thing with we have 3 different languages in the web, like HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, is there for a reason, right? We want to have separations of concerns. So we have a specialized language for each concern, which I think is a good idea. Nowadays, especially with React, people just started to smoothen this whole thing up, and everything is now inside JS, which I personally think is a really bad idea. So I prefer the whole idea of CSS variables and making them, the source of truth or whatever for things that can be changed or dynamic. Yes.
Yeah, I think we would slowly starting to finish the meetup because I'm getting sleepy myself.
Yeah.
I also am out of breakfast.
You finished the cookies, then we cannot continue.
We have to stop here.
Yeah, no cookies, no fun.
I wanted to thank all our guests for staying with us so long, even if we're talking not only about Vue.js or even programming at all.
Yeah.
But it was a fun meeting, and I'm very happy that you invited me here, guys. And hopefully you will find a nice guest for the next weekend, for the next event. Good luck with that. Thanks, Logaret, for great talk.
Awesome.
And see you in Berlin or on another conference when they finally let us out.
Yeah. And
yeah.
Thank you, Gustav, for your time. It was really pleasure to see you again.
It was great to join you here. I really like this formula because we as a community lack discussions like that. Like we had this discussion in Amsterdam with a whole room, but once we started doing online events, it turned out instead of discussions, we're just doing regular talks.
Yeah.
Which if you want to see a talk, you can just watch something on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, in the past few weeks, there are like lots of talks from Vue.js Amsterdam guys and from Vue.js, lots of meetups doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think it's nice, but I also agree. I think discussions are still underrated, let's say. Let's have more of them.
I mean,
I was thinking about own series of discussions with a few invited guests and just a host, where I gather experts on particular topic and they discuss together. And I wanted to call it the Vue discussions. But we'll see how it works. Yeah, because we'll see how it works because you know that I'm lazy.
I mean these talks are nice, and I mean
they're very nice.
Yeah, we need to find someone for next one. But who can it be? Maybe Damian.
Damian would be great.
Oh yeah, Damian would be awesome.
Yeah,
let's ask him. Or maybe Emily.
Yeah.
What do you think, Emily? Wanna join the next discussion round next month?
Or to give a talk?
Of course, also to give a talk anytime.
Yeah.
Maybe we also keep, if they want to, of course, but maybe we just have the people who had a talk as well inside the discussion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Although the screen format would be a bit more tricky, this way it's really nice because we have exactly the space we need.
Yeah, exactly. I can kind of squish it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emily is shy. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but,
She deleted the message. Oopsie.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's like four people is a max. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe 5. It's like, but you still have some kind of limitations. Even like it's for hangouts and everything. So for streaming, it's like. I have good internet connection.
Yeah.
But still like 4 people is like maximum it would be. Yeah, so yeah, definitely. We can go like with some like specific topics, or we can just like do this what we did today, like totally.
As long as you don't talk about Bitcoin, I think we can do it.
Yeah.
I can talk about Bitcoin like for hours if you want, and not even.
Yeah, no.
Not only for Bitcoin. There's like Litecoin and Ethereum.
Great.
Man.
Ethereum is at least interesting, but let's not talk about it.
We can talk about Ethereum. There's like lots of interesting stuff happening there. But
That's true. That's actually really interesting because of the contracts of the that you can do there. So that is interesting. Not the whole people sell it for money stuff. I really don't care.
Yeah.
But I think it's nice that you can do actual programmable contracts that somehow enforce payment in one direction. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Just that the technology is still too crazy. We'll get there. Anyways.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, the visitors numbers are plummeting, so let's not go on.
Yeah.
Okay, so the plan is to invite Damian.
Or whatever who will have time.
Yeah.
I always
ask. That's the
I,
problematic part.
We obviously don't have any like so much fame as Vue.js Amsterdam guys, so they can invite like much more like Vue.js superstar.
Yeah, but we should have fame, I think. No, maybe not.
As long as it's not too high, like people like Ivan are very busy. That's the problem, that they are always busy. But when they have time, they are very willing to do things. But as long as it's not too high, I think you can invite anybody, and I can help with that. It's not a problem.
Yeah. I have like a couple people I want to like invite. So I will try it for the next meetup. So hopefully we will have talks, and if it would be possible, it would be that we will have like, for example, like two talks, and these 2 speakers will join us for the talk.
Yeah,
like after.
I think this is really good. That's a really good size also, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe not 3 hours of babbling afterwards like we do currently.
Just only 3.5.
In general.
Yeah, 3.5 hours. So talks were done in like 1 hour, and like the rest 2.5 hours is just us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but we always have that, especially when Gustav is around. We're just talking a lot.
Yeah. We can talk like until morning. We have lots of topics, I guess.
True. Let's not do it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Actually, I need to work tomorrow. Finally.
Oh yeah, there's that thing.
My
work.
My 4 hours of work tomorrow.
Yeah.
You still have only 4 hours per week?
8 hours per week.
Oh, I'm sorry, 8 hours. Okay.
And it's so.
And you even stretch them over 2 days?
Yes. Yes. So it's.
Okay, sure.
I mean, honestly, you cannot do anything like in 4 hours. You wake up.
Yeah.
You have a coffee, and it's already like 2 hours are gone. Just reading the Slack or emails, and it will take minimal.
Yeah, I know.
30% of the time. So, and
I know.
And as we don't do any like big features right now, so it's more like it's really Hopefully it will be better soon-ish.
Yeah, should be. I'll try to go to some out of town to see some nature, make some photos. Maybe I'll find something good. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for today.
Yeah. Thanks.
Sorry that I have the one ending there.
No, it's good that you do it at some point, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, your wife already.
Thanks a lot to all our attendees on the chat. We ended with 7 people. I thought nobody will listen to us at this point.
7 brave people.
Yes.
Yeah.
The core.
Yeah, the elite.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Gustav, for your time, and hopefully we will see each other. Soon.
We should.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Bye. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Abdel.
Yeah. Good night.
Awad.
Good night, everyone.